Hey there everyone, welcome back to another day of our Summer Reading Club programming, and today is Thursday, one of my favorite days of the week, and on Thursdays what we like to do is to make different kind of crafts and activities that highlight different places and interesting cultures all across the world. So for today we're going to be visiting Scandinavia, Norway specifically, to make these Norwegian gnomes. Now, this has a really special place in my heart because in university, am taking Norwegian, where I'm learning the Norwegian language and a little bit about Scandinavian culture. And there's a really interesting story attributed with these gnomes, where they are basically the Scandinavian equivalent of our Santa Claus here in North America. So they are basically associated with the Christmas tradition down there. Now, in Norwegian, these little gnomes are called nissa, and in Swedish, they're tomta. And the little nissa here, in Norway, there is a lot of emphasis on farmland and the importance of farms supporting your family, especially in the 18th and 19th century. So, and around the 18th, 19th century, there became this really big emphasis on the little gnomes here being guardians for farmland and the families of those people who owned the farmland. So they would live in a barn or a little shack that was on the farmland. And they would, if you're kind and respectful to them, they would help out on the farm. Just like if you are nice with Santa Claus, he will bring you presents. And very same way, if you weren't very nice to the Nissa and showed him disrespect, or you're being naughty, as we say for the Santa Claus here, basically that would mean that he would be really upset and start to steal things from your farm. And I found it really interesting and funny because there was always rumors out there that if you upset the Nissa, he would say steal a horse from your farm and give it to a farm next door. And for how important livestock and horses and all of that were, especially for farmland and those individuals that had their life's work in their farm, it was really bad to see that farmland being taken advantage of by the Nissa. Now, it's a really cool backstory to it, but how to make this craft today is you will need a either plastic cup or a styrofoam cone. Both you can grab from the dollar store, and I just have a cup today, but you want to make sure whichever way you use that it has enough strength to support the weight and stand up as a good base. So I'm just using a plastic solo cup today. You will also need a spare mop, also from the dollar store, only $2 if you don't happen to have one lying around the house. And as you see, there's a bunch of twine here. What you'll need to do is cut off that twine to give you all of this, so it's no longer attached to the actual mop itself. They're all nice and separated, and that will be used for the beard of our Norwegian gnomes today. You will also need either a wooden knob or, as I have here, a little styrofoam ball, and that will be the gnome's nose. You will also need a pair of socks that you're not using. I would recommend the fluffier and woollier the better, and that will create the hat of our Nissa or Tomta today. You will also need, of course, some scissors just for some cutting, and I would recommend grabbing either white glue or hot glue today because a glue stick works well as well, but it doesn't quite glue as fast when it comes to actually gluing the twine to the cup. But to get started with our craft today, assuming you've already cut out the twine from your mop, what you will want to do is start gluing these onto your cup or cone. Now, when it comes to this, you will need to fold these in half, just like so, as you see here, and that will help the gluing process to be a lot faster all the way across. And you want to make sure that you're being consistent on where you are gluing each bit of the twine across of the cup or the cone. Because, as you see here with mine, we want to make sure that the sock is overlapping the actual mop yarn right here. So for me, I glued my mop yarn or twine right about here, so just above where the sock is. So there's a little bit of overlap, but be consistent with it. You want to make a straight line all the way across. So I think for today, I will use this line right here. Now, this will be the part of the craft that takes the longest amount of time, is actually gluing on each of these twines, but you just add a little bit of hot glue or white glue to the back. And just like so, making sure it's nice and straight, you then proceed to glue it on, just like that. And then you just want to rinse and repeat this process all the way across until you get to the end of your cup or cone. So you want to make sure it is all the way around, just like so. And if you see here in my example, I will take off the sock on the hat. Looks just like this, you see? Now, once you have actually glued on all of these different strands, what you'll want to do next is start to break apart these strands. Now, what I mean by that is each mop twine here is basically 4 strings that are all wrapped together to make one larger collection or a bigger string. What you'll want to do is start to slowly unwrap that. As you see, there are the 4 different ends, and then you just slowly take that apart. And what this will do is it will make the mop and the actual beard look a lot fuller for your Norwegian gnomes today, as you see. And then just like that, when it's all pulled apart like so, you then want to pull the 2s apart as well. And that will make 4 individual strings for every one original big strand of mop twine that you have. And that will create a much fuller look when it comes to your braids here for the beard, as you see. And then you just want to do that all the way across. This will also take a little bit of time, but I promise it's worth it. Otherwise, it'd be all bunched up together, and you would still be able to see the cup in and behind where the beard is. So once you have done all of that with the twine, what you'll want to do next is to then glue on your styrofoam nose, as you see here. It's super easy with white glue or hot glue. Either put on the styrofoam nose, wooden nose, they all work okay. And you just put on a little bit of glue on the back, and then you pop it on just under where you have the top of the mop twine here. And then that will glue it on, and that will be your nose. Now this is a great point where you know where to put on the actual sock for the hat. Now, in order to put on socks, what you'll want to do is, of course, make sure they're out like so, and you will want to just about kind of fold up a little bit like this, as if you're to like wear a toque, where you kind of fold the top of it. It'll be just like so, and then that will be the bottom of the hat. Now, as you see here, it's a little bit clumpier, and that is a good thing because otherwise the entire weight of the sock will be over on one side. But because you have this big part in the middle, I basically grabbed the second sock from here and put it in the middle, bunching it up to create just a little bit more of a solid hat foundation here. And then that way, when you put it on to your gnome, it'll look just like so. Just give me 1 second here. There we go. And making sure to have that little bit of overlap here with the actual mop twine, and it will keep it standing. And with the last little bit on the hanging part here, you want to grab any sort of string, twine, up to you. I just use red and white because I thought of the Christmas colors and theme. And you just want to tie the top of it, creating the toque-like look here. But that will be everything for today with our Norwegian gnome. I hope you all enjoyed both making this craft and learning a little bit more about Scandinavian culture, because I know I absolutely love to learn more and more about it. But thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a tremendous rest of your day. Have a good one, everyone.